Welcome back to Mersin in Turkey and the second half of today's World Challenge Cup finals day. We've already had 5 fantastic finals with some outstanding performances from our talented gymnasts, and there is still plenty more to look forward to with another 5 finals on the way. And here are our athletes primed and ready to go for another round of competition. Some new faces, but also some faces we've already seen in the first part of the day. Some medalists who are going for glory a second time around. These are the beam competitors. The 8 best qualifiers on beam have made it through to today's final. And as the women's beam competition is underway, so will the men's vault. Well, this World Challenge Cup event coming at a really critical time for these gymnasts, with the World Championships in Antwerp just a couple of weeks away. And then, of course, the big one, the Paris Olympic Games, less than a year away. So these gymnasts, of course, want to be hitting form at this time in order to secure their qualification spots and in order to secure vital medals as well. Today's event is being brought to you from Mersin in Turkey, the third gymnastics event to take place in the country this year, in what is a huge year for the sport in this country. 25 different nations are competing here today. And Turkey, of course, is well represented, and they've already taken a handful of medals so far for their troubles. And some really inspired performances from the youngsters, and also from some old faces too. That is Rose Wu currently warming up on the beam. She's already taken a medal today. She took silver on the uneven bars just a little while ago. So a successful day so far for the Canadian. That is the start list for the balance beam, and it will be Sevgi Kausalo of Turkey who gets us underway, followed by Nicolette Silagi, Rose Wu of Canada. Many of those competitors have already been competing today. A couple of new names in there: Hu Ying, Angel Wong and Xiang Han Mai Lu, as well as Tina Zarchich, the 3 new faces. Anna Washevska of Ukraine, the youngster, the teenager, she took a gold medal on the bars just before the break, and she is now back on beam and hoping, I'm sure, to replicate that success. It'll be the Turkish athlete Sevgi Kausalo who is first up on the beam. She is part of a really exciting new generation of Turkish women's gymnasts, along with Jeren Biner, Bengisu Yildiz and Derin Tan Reyasakor. Each of those athletes will perform on 3 different apparatus here in Mersin. So a busy day for the Turkish women. Long before the competition resumes, the athletes just having a bit of a last-minute warm-up, get a feel for the apparatus. And then we will begin. Sofika Solo waiting patiently for the beam competition to get underway. She is 18 years of age. Took up gymnastics at 5 years of age. That's the start list for the men's vault. Igor Radivilov will kick us off, followed by his compatriot Nazar Chaperny, Kevin Penev, Abdulaziz Miraliev, Christopher Nazarosh, Wei Shen Seng, Benedikt Tomshani, and Bojidar Zlatanov. So from some familiar names from the earlier finals in the day. Gorodyliov getting us underway. He has an absolutely incredible record on vault. He won a medal at the London 2012 Olympics. He's a complete veteran on this apparatus. Rings as well. He finished second in qualification, not too far off Nazar Chaperny. Same difficulty, Chaperny and Radivilov. Sefki Gayasolo just waiting for the green light. She looks ever so relaxed. There's huge support for the home athletes here in this arena in Mersin. Igor Radivilov ready to go. .6 for his difficulty in qualification. He's capable of much more difficult vaults. I suspect he will stick to a 5.6 in this final. Oh, big step forward on landing. Chest a bit too far down, I suspect. Wry smile. He knows he could have done better. Sofika Solo is a bar specialist, but she Looking very much at home on the beam. And a huge roar goes up from the home crowd in Mersin. And there's a big smile too from the gymnast. She is pretty pleased with how she did there on the beam, and that's a very assured performance from Sevgi Kaysolo to kick things off in this beam final. Very well done to the Turkish gymnast. Nazar Chaperny of Ukraine is second to go on the men's vault. He's been doing so well at World Cup events. Finished top qualifier. Won gold at the University Games in August with a 14.833. He and Igor Radivilov with the same difficulty score. Similar execution score. Chaperny, slightly better execution. So it could be, well, judging by the results from qualification, it will be tight between those two. Hungary's Nicolette Shilagi is second to go on the beam. 14.750 for Chaperny. That is up from his qualification score of 14.675, so I'm sure he'll be pleased with that improvement. Of course, keep you up to date with all the numbers as they come in. Sevgi Kaysolo kicks us off in this beam competition with a 12.633. Penalty there for that step. Nazar Chaperny ready to go with his second vault. He got a 9.2 for his execution in qualifying. Difficulty 5.6. And it's good. Half a smile there towards his coach and teammates. And this is Nicolette Shilagi, who is the second up on the beam. Well, that was a great dismount, really well controlled, really tidy. And she was satisfied there. You could see the smile at the end. It's great to see a gymnast looking pleased with their performance at the end of it, because they all work so incredibly hard. Kevin Penev of Bulgaria. Well, Kevin is here with his older brother Eddie, who took a medal earlier on. I'm sure Eddie will now be cheering on his little brother Kevin in this vault competition. He finished as the 6th best in qualifying. Both Penev brothers have represented Bulgaria at European Championship level. I'm sure it's a great support to each of them when they're travelling far from home, to have the other supporting them. Second vault for Penev. .2 difficulty. He got an 8.85 for execution in his second vault. 14.025 overall in qualifying. Oh, didn't quite stick the landing. Just suspect he didn't quite get enough height to fit in all of those rotations. Paid the price at the end. Well, after 3 gymnasts have gone, Penev finds himself third. It's the 2 Croatians who are first and second as things stand. Rose Wu of Canada, she took silver on the uneven bars a little earlier on, and she take home a second medal today. Rose Wu has been around for a while. She's represented Canada. She was in the Canadian Olympic team in Rio in 2016. Her sister also has competed for the national team. So another gymnastics family. She looks a little nervous. I don't know whether it's nerves or focus. Could well be a combination of both. Nice tidy dismount for Rose Wu. Nicolette Schlagi awaiting her results. 13.067 puts her ahead of Sevgi Kaisolo. Abdulaziz Merliev is the 4th up on the vault. We saw him competing earlier on, and the floor is preferred apparatus. Not bad on vault either, really tidy vault, good height in the air. Slight step to the left on landing, nevertheless that was pretty solid. Well, he has two 5.6 difficulty vaults, so there's nothing to stop him being a contender. Just a question as to whether he can hit them. His execution of 9 and 8.6 in qualification suggests he had a couple of issues, and there's one stepping right off the mat. Didn't stick the landing at all. He did win the Asian Artistic Gymnastics gold. Of course, the athletes who wish to compete in the Paris Olympics next year have to compete in the Asian Championships in order to secure a spot at the World Championships in Belgium next month. So he is on track for that. But that big step will have cost him. Xiang Mai Lu is next to go. (31 years of age, from Chinese Taipei. Rose Wu has got herself into the front. Just pips Nicolette Chilagi on the beam so far. Early days, of course, and this is Xiang Mai Lu, a 31-year-old from Chinese Taipei. She has a doctoral degree and has worked as a gymnastics coach at Taiwan Normal University. So very accomplished woman indeed. She said she was encouraged to take up the sport by a customer who came into her father's shop and recommended she give gymnastics a go. Well, slight rotation on the dismount. Facing exactly the way she should have been. (14.150) puts Abdulaziz Nuriev into second place so far on the vault. And that is a shame. Christopher Mezarosh goes flying on his dismount. No bonuses for backwards rolls on landing. His second vault is lower on the difficulty. Generally his execution is very good. These are just the warm-ups for the second lot of competitors. So we have reached the halfway stage of the vault and the women's beam. 4 gymnasts have been and gone, and there are 4 more still to compete. So slight break for the warm-ups for the final 4 on each apparatus. So next up will be Christopher Mezarosh on the vault. He was the 7th best in qualification. As I said, his second vault is lower on the difficulty than his first, but his execution is generally excellent. Next up, 12.334 Haisiang Mailu. Fourth of 4 at the moment. So she is not in medal contention. As it stands, it's Rose Wu who is currently occupying that gold medal spot on the beam, followed by Nicolette Shilagi and the Turkish gymnast Sevgi Kaysolo. There you can see confirmation then of the scores on the balance beam so far. And that's how the men's vault is looking after the first 4 athletes have done their vaults. Well, next up on the balance beam it is Anna Lashevska. She took gold on bars a little earlier on. I'm sure that will have filled her with absolute confidence heading into the beam final. Can she take home a second medal? Christopher Azarosh, 5th up on vault. His first vault, it'll be very good because he needs it for the all-round and team finals at international level. But he really needs a second vault, but his first vault is strong. Oh, big step to the side. That'll be costly. It is quite unusual to see him in a vault final, though he's not a vault specialist, but he is a very useful part of the Hungarian squad. So he does need to be able to execute a pretty decent vault. Anna Lashevska of Ukraine. She has a gold medal to her name already. Second vault for Mezarosh. Much better landing on the second vault. Stayed within those tram lines, dead on the middle. Very neat, tidy shape in the air, legs straight, tight, close together. Well, she is new to the senior competition, Anna Lashevska. We have seen her here and there at World Cup level. She's certainly making a mark in Mersin. A very solid performance on the bars, so solid that it got her a gold. We'll see her again in floor later on. So she'll be competing across 3 different events. She looks assured, collected, confident on the beam. She impressed with a trio of medals at World Cup events earlier in the spring. First year of senior competition for the teenager. It's another job well done for the young Ukrainian. Wei Shengzheng is the penultimate on the vault. He was third best in qualification. Recently won a medal at the World University Games in Chengdu. Finished behind Nazar Chaperny, who you can see there at the top of the standings. He got the gold. Cheng Wei Sen was third in the final in Mersin last year. This doesn't look great. Let's just take another look, see what we can get a better look at what happened. Not sure where the problem with that began, but his shape in the air was a little untidy, legs far apart, and that is such a shame to see him hobbling off like that. It didn't look like it was his leg that he hurt. He sort of landed on his shoulder and his face, and it's a real shame to see him injured like that. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. Heavy strapping already on his knee. Let's hope it's not the same issue. And you can see that he really jarred that right leg on landing. It would have been rather painful, I suspect. Let's hope that it's nothing too serious, and that the physios and doctors can get that sorted out pretty quickly. Another high score for Anna Olszewska. That is enough to put her into gold on the beam so far. Quite a significant margin between her and Rose Wu, who is now in silver. This is Lucia Hribar. If we remember her performance on bars a little earlier on, she actually fell off the bars during that routine. She'll be hoping for a better performance on beam. Hopefully she can put that bars routine behind her. Focus on this. Stay on and do a good job. Wonderful dismount. Nailed the landing. A couple of slight wobbles during the routine, but that was a fantastic dismount for Lucia Hribar. making up for the disappointment of the uneven bars earlier on. Benedikt Tomaszani of Hungary is the last to go on the vault. He was the 8th qualifier. And much like Christopher Lazzaros, he's not necessarily a vault specialist, but he is an important part of the national team, so he's got a decent first vault, but the second isn't quite so strong. He needs his first vault at international level. It's quite unusual to see him in a vault final. His second vault is a 4 for difficulty. First vault 4.8, second vault 4. Execution for the first vault 9.050, 9.450, so better execution in the second one, albeit much easier vault. This is our last competitor on the beam, Yu Ying Wong. She is a 36-year-old from Hong Kong. I've seen her mostly on vault. That's where she's had the majority of her success. Bronze medal in the Summer University Games in Shenzhen in 2011. Silver in the vault in the 2012 Pacific Rim Championships. And in 2008 in the Asian Championships in Doha. Also took a silver on vault. She does have one eponymous skill. She's got a skill named after her. That's the salto forward tucked half turn mount. That was added to the code of points in the 2012 London Olympic Games. That concludes our women's beam competition. Yu Ying Angel Wong, the last to go on beam. Nice solid performance from her to finish off the beam competition. But as things stand, it is Anna Lashevska is the athlete she needs to beat. She is well in front with a 13.76. Benedikt Tomaszani Last to go on vault. Pretty good landing. It's only a very slight hop forward. My apologies. That is not Benedict Tomshani. Wojciech Zlatanov. I do apologise. It's the athlete we've just seen, the final athlete to go on vault. Another really solid vault from the Bulgarian. Really tidy gymnast. He was the 5th best in qualification. He's just a teenager still. He made his World Cup debut the Varna World Challenge Cup earlier this year. He was thrilled to be in a televised final in his hometown. He was absolutely delighted to be there with the TV cameras on that stage in Varna. What a wonderful experience for him. Croatia's Tina Zeloc. Last up on beam. She is a beam specialist, although she does have the lowest difficulty of any qualifier with a 4.6. You actually have to go down to 11th place to find someone with a lower difficulty rating. 11th place in the qualifying. She got a 7.85 for execution. And if Zelic wins this, it'll be a real triumph of execution over difficulty. Well, the execution was good. Oh, what score? Not enough to get onto the podium. Still Anna Mashevska, who is on top at the minute. 13.76 ahead of Rose Wu, who's on 13.16. Shen Wei-Tsen limping after that painful looking dismount in which he fell on his a really uncomfortable position on his right leg. Looked like a really jarring fall. At first glance it looked like he landed on his shoulder and face, but in the replays you could see that his right leg landed really heavily. Certainly hope that that's not too serious an injury for him. Rings finalists making their way out onto the floor. And they will be accompanied or followed quickly by the women's floor finalists. Those two events taking place simultaneously. Well, that's the standings for the men's vault. still Nazaj Perny occupying the top spot. So gold for Ukraine for Nazaj Perny. Women's floor finalists being introduced to the crowd. As are the rings finalists. The Turkish athletes there on the left of your picture, carrying the home nation's hopes. Turkish athletes really well supported by the fans here in Mersin. Tina Zelic, 12.633, the final athlete to go on the beam. Well, not enough to get onto the podium. Very low difficulty score, 4.6. We move on to the floor. The athletes will have a quick warm-up as ever, just to get used to the feel of the surface. Get themselves properly warmed up. And we will begin. Floor final taking place alongside the rings final. And on the floor it'll be Lucia Hribar who gets us underway first of all. She's only just finished her beam routine and now she is straight onto the floor, so not much breathing time for Hribar. Straight back into it. There is the confirmation of the beam results. Second gold medal. These are the medalists for the men's vault. Ukraine, Uzbekistan and Ukraine. 2 medals for Ukraine then in the men's vault, as well as Uzbekistan. Very high quality vault final, of course. Nazar Chupani, Igor Radivolov and Abdulaziz Miraliev. Well, big smiles for the medalists. Photos, as well as you'd expect. People want to remember these wonderful occasions, scenes of their triumphs. The women waiting patiently, the beam medalists waiting for their chance to collect their medals, but it is Nazar Chupani, Abdulaziz Miraliev and Igor Radivolov who are enjoying their moment. Bronze, silver and gold in the men's vault. Here are the women's beam medalists. Big smile there for Rose Wu. 2 medals for her today, Rose Wu, and 2 medals for Anna Lashevska as well. 2 golds, in fact. Gold on asymmetric bars, gold on the beam. Rose Wu, she took silver on bars, takes silver on beam too. And Nicolette Shilagi finishing in 3rd. Well, a really proud day for Anna Lashevska, the teenager from Ukraine who takes home 2 gold medals, bars and beam. What a day for her. What a day too for Rose Wu from Canada. Silver on beam, silver on bars. And Nicolette Shilagi, bronze medal with her exploits on beam. Well, the men's rings medalists will be next up to claim their prizes. And of course it was Nikita Simonov, the overwhelming 3 final favourite,